the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Those are one of the things that you must consider when going into business. Food, shelter, clothing. Food, shelter, clothing.
I got a condo in Manhattan. Baby girl, what's happening? You and your ass invited, so gonna get to clapping. Go pop it for me, pop it for me. Turn around and do a plan, drop it for me.
Today I'm gonna talk about having a plan B. The Holy Book says, man proposes, God disposes. Many are the plans in the heart of a man, but it's the one that God gives approval so that will succeed. Um, I don't like going the religious way in this podcast, but look, in every business there is a God factor. Um, there is the God factor. There's the part of the business that you just can't figure out how it's working. You don't know. You just know that it's almost like there's some being somewhere agreeing with you and helping your business move forward. And sometimes too, you don't know what's going on really. You just know that it's like you've tried everything, you've tried every strategy in the book, and things are just not working. And then you have to, you know, seek a higher being that can help you, in some way figure things out. Anyway, that's by the side. So you can set out to do business, you can set out to do anything, and you have written down all your plans, you have, in your eyes, dotted all your I's, crossed all your T's, but things can still go on that you did not plan that would frustrate that business. So when you are going into businesses, especially I'm talking now from the perspective of those who are still working, who probably have a side hustle and are thinking of leaving that business and leaving the employment rather and going into uh, turning their side hustles into full businesses, you know, and making that your major source of income. I have been there. In 2014, I resigned from the job that I had and went into business. But then that was the period when Buhari was coming in, and then there was recession and a lot of things that I did not plan on, that I did not envisage, and the dollar also, needless to say, it didn't work out. I mean, the more I try, every expectation, every plan, every projection, everything failed, and that was, I mean, that's what happened across the real estate space where I operate. That's what happened in so many sectors, you know. But I had resigned. It's not going back, you know. So, but thank God that before I resigned, um, I mean, when we were making the plan, we also had another business that my wife and I were running that was more consumer friendly, talking about fashion, accessories, clothing, in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Those are one of the things that you must consider when going into business. Food, shelter, clothing. Food, shelter, clothing. I'm into shelter. I'm into real estate. She's into clothing. We are not into food. Food is always at the top of it. So those three um, layers of needs are consistent. You know. So that was the clothing part, talking about shoes, clothing, fashion accessories, and all that. And those are more affordable. So despite the recession, people were still able to afford and buy that. And because the real estate part wasn't working anyway, it needed a lot of time. It needed, so we had to join hands together and make that work and make it work well. And yes, it did. And that was able to sustain us through that period. You know. So the point here is, look, You may think you know. You may think you know. I mean, you may think, yes, you've been working in the space that you're working in for such and such number of years. You have this experience, you've done reports, you've done, you think you know, you think you're brilliant. But look, when it comes to the world of business, just like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a strategy, everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face. There are unexpected things that would happen. So have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan. Because what you thought would happen, the projections you made, people you thought would pay, one thing may just happen in that industry and wipes out all those options. And that's it. You have to find other ways, to survive. And cash flow. Without cash flow, everything dies. So this is me telling you to have a plan B. And then the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Look, you may have it good in your business right now, you may have it good in your job or something, and so you are okay with your wife just sitting down at home, just taking care of the kids, and that is okay. But look, like I said, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. You don't know what would happen tomorrow. Find your wife a business. Make sure your wife is productive. Just in case. Just in case. I mean, these days that people just die anyhow, what happens to your kids if something happens, God forbid, you know? Make sure you settle that part of your home. Make sure that she's sorted out, and God forbid, if something happens, she can stand alone and she can take care of things. She can hold for, even if it's loss of revenue on your part. She can stand and hold for till things improve. Thinking, well, nothing will happen. It's a very myopic way of thinking. It's a very, very myopic way of thinking. Make sure your partner, make sure your spouse, make sure on both fronts you are productive. Let me know what you think about this advice. Let me know what your comments, your contributions are, and then remember to subscribe. If this looks like something somebody can benefit from, please share with them. Until next time, stay blessed.